Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the Frontline Changes report for the past 24 hours for the day of 1208 for the 15th of June. So we're going to start off with the Frontline Changes over at the SUMY front, basically the previous Kursk front. So over at, this is Sudja. No, in the south of Sudja we have Guevo and Gordown, and a geolocation of Russian forces has been noted in the northern part of this place called Mariupol. So based on this geolocation, we can ascertain that the Russians have fully retaken the rest of the Kursk region around the Guevo Gornau region. Because only if they have all the full control of the forest here, then they could potentially attack into this area here. I did not put Alexandria as part of the Russian control because they don't necessarily need it to reach this point. So this is a consolidation of the Russian position in Kursk, and so pretty big advance around here. The distance advance is up to 2.7 kilometers deep. So that is the Russian advance into the Sumy region from a different angle. If they are willing to continue on, then capturing of Mariupol will be expected, or at least the battle for it, and that will launch a new flank over this area here, while the main offensive is currently ongoing in the north of Sumy. So that's the main gist here. So we go on to the next frontline change is over at the Siversk front. So we jump all the way to Siversk over here. So this is Siversk city, and at the Siversk front there is a geolocation north of Ivano-Darivka, which is here. This is Verkhovno-Kanyamsky, and there is this geolocation of Russian forces in the field, confirming that the Russians have tried to do an offensive westward over the northern outskirts of Ivano-Darivka. So some flanking operations, I guess, to try to overcome the fortifications that the Russians seems to be unable to take off Ivano-Darivka. So we shall see how this go. So the advance in this move here is around 800 meters, 600 to 800 meters. So that's the main frontline change in this sector here. Over at the Siversk front, further south to the Bakhmut front, this is Bakhmut. At the Bakhmut front, Russian forces at Chasiv Yar have advanced. This is a very rare instance of frontline change nowadays at Chasiv Yar. Geolocation of Russian forces entering into, I think this is the Shevchenko district of Chasiv Yar, which means that the Russian forces have overrun this position again. They previously have entered before and then they left. So here they are back again. The advance is around 1 kilometer to 1.5 kilometer deep. So yeah, so this looks pretty fast, and the revival of this offensive in the Chasiv Yar region. So again, the terrain here is very difficult to conquer due to the forest and the hilly nature of this place. So let's see what the Russians could do. And after this is over at Yablunevka, over at the New-York front. So this is New-York, Toretsk, and this is Yablunevka. So over at Yablunevka, the Russian forces have been geolocated along the highway, taking a new position. So this is most likely the Russians overrunning another fortification along the junction there, so capturing some ground. So so far Yablunevka is pretty well defended. The Ukrainians probably have sent reinforcement to make sure that they do not lose this strategically important town. So the advance here, you can see this is actually pretty big. Down the road, let me see. Down the road here is around 1 kilometers, almost 1 kilometers deep, and to the other front line is 600 meters. So this is a pretty big advance by the Russian forces for this very contested zone. So we will continue to monitor to see how this continue to develop. And there is one last frontline change is Ukrainian capture over at the Komar front. This is Komar. So over in the north of Komar, this Komar, the frontline change is here. This is actually a geolocation of Zaporizhia. Ukrainian forces there's an armored personnel carrier that was destroyed. But this also invalidates Russian claims that the Russians have advanced to this point, or at least captured the point. So Ukrainian forces did attack and take back a bit of useless ground. So because this is just open ground, there's nothing here. You see, there's not much things here. So the armored vehicle got destroyed here. So I just invalidated the Russian claim. That's all. So otherwise, this is really nothing much. So that's it. So let's find one background. Let's use Jablonivka then. So let's use this as the background. So we do need to do the calculation. So the Komar is 0.19. This is the Ukrainian capture, 0.19 square kilometers. The Russians have captured 8.66 plus 0.73 plus 1.94 plus 0.93. The total area captured by the Russians is 12.26. This mainly is a result of the lack of intel of other frontline changes, because there's so few frontline changes, right? There's only five frontline changes in the past 24 hours. So there's probably other frontline changes for sure that part of the front lines has already collapsed. So we are expecting more frontline changes. So I think the next 24 hours we're going to see more frontline change, and probably balance this out to 20 square kilometers. So anyway, that's it. And thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, I say real. Press like and subscribe. And also check out the DPA Open Mic that I've just finished. It's a 7.5 hours of great conversation of the latest situation over the past week. And I'll see you guys in the next update.